Hi Taurus, this 2022 overview is for all Taurus risings, sun and moon. Although the rising is the strongest indicator in the chart, many people resonate with their sun and some even resonate with their moon sign. I also encourage anyone who has a lot of planets in Taurus or their second house to watch as well, because you may resonate with some of these themes that are going on for this year. So if you have a stellium in Taurus or the second house, even if you don't have a rising sign in Taurus, check out this video because you might benefit from it. So I have the transits that I'm going to talk about on the screen here just so you can see it. If I forget to mention them again, sometimes I do that. Although there are more things going on this year, this is just the few that I think are pretty important. There's other ones like Mercury retrograde, but I'm thinking I might do videos closer towards, that time. And I didn't want to make these too long. So hopefully this gives you a good idea of what to expect for this year and how to work with the energy. So we're going to start off with Venus retrograde. So this is a transit that we've been a little bit used to for now, because Venus went retrograde in Capricorn December 19th. She will stay there until January 29th when she goes direct, and then she doesn't leave Capricorn until March 6th. So this is an ongoing theme. For you, this is in your 9th house. So the 9th house is all about expansion of the higher mind, right? So it rules higher education, law, religion, spirituality, anything foreign. So foreign relationships, foreign cultures, foreign language. It rules philosophy, our mentors, ethics. It also rules any type of, basically foreign travel, but travel, publishing. I'm trying to think of anything else. Yeah, so it's a pretty busy house, but Venus here retrograde is asking you to reevaluate your beliefs and attitude when it comes to 9th house matters. So all those topics I just mentioned. Obviously, it won't be every single topic. For some people, it might just be higher education. For other people, it might be you're reevaluating your religion. But basically, you're being asked to reevaluate these to see whether they still align with who you are. So Venus also rules money. So if you spend money in any of these areas, you may also be reassessing if this still works for you and aligns with your values. So some examples might be, maybe you've never wanted to live abroad, but all of a sudden you're thinking that might be something really what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, expanding for you, something that would benefit you. I actually do know someone who never was into that, and now they're very curious about living abroad. For other people, if you're a student, this could be changing a major. Maybe you're in school and you're just like, you know what, this is not my thing anymore, and are drastically changing your major. For other people, it might be reevaluating a religion. Now, that doesn't mean you leave the religion. For some people, it might be if you don't align with it, but it might be that you're realizing that maybe all your values don't align with this, and maybe you need to shift and become more spiritual. For some people, it could be reevaluating a mentor or spiritual guru that you look up to. And for some people, it's just their beliefs in general, right? About the world. Just in general, you'll be reevaluating, like, what are your beliefs and attitudes, and do they serve you? What needs to change? So after March 6th, you will have more clarity and be able to make any changes necessary and feel more confident in them. So if you're feeling confused in any of these areas, just give it some time and know that you're being asked to just, go within and rethink all these, and that by March 6th, you should have some more clarity surrounding any of these topics that might have come up for you over the last few months. The next transit I want to talk about is Jupiter in Pisces. So Jupiter is in Pisces now and will stay there through May 10th. And then he dips out and he goes into Aries May 10th through October 28th. And then he'll go back into Pisces October 28th through December 20th. And that is in Jupiter's in your 11th house right now. So I did do a video on Jupiter and what it means. I think I did the transiting video. So I'll post that in here so you can click on it if you want, but I'll just briefly go over it again. So now through May, you have luck, expansion, and growth in 11th house matters. So the 11th house is all about the groups we belong to. So whether that's friendships or, a humanitarian group or a gym group or a sports group, any group, a political group, your long-term goals, dreams, and it's also the house of gains. So this is really auspicious. I mean, Jupiter is auspicious no matter where he goes, but this is a really good transit for seeing some expansion and growth and development when it comes to your long-term goals. If you are on social media and that's something that's important to you, or you have like a YouTube channel, this is a really good year to expand your following. Generally, you're just going to be more social. You might attract new friends. Your friends might be lucky in some sense, like maybe you meet someone who knows someone and helps you, expand your career. If you do belong to any humanitarian groups or social causes, there will also be a lot of growth and luck through these groups. In general, it's a really good time for friendships and being more social. And this is quite interesting because when Jupiter will stay here until May 10th. And then from May 10th to October 28th, Jupiter is actually going into your 12th house. So this is going to be quite a different energy. So while you were really social and kind of maybe out there on social media, you might actually just want to take a break during this time. You might become more introverted and choose to spend more time alone. You might actually just feel more content alone. You may benefit from any efforts of solitude, such as meditating or like going to a healing center or an ashram, any forms of spirituality. Also anything that deals with like the unseen. So if you were to do hypnosis or past life regression, you would really benefit from this. You could have a lot of like breakthroughs and heal a lot of subconscious stuff like traumas and whatnot. But overall, you might just want to spend more time alone. If there are issues with mental health or addictions, this is a really good time to heal them. You might become more spiritual and feel a connection with the divine or, the universe. You're able to heal subconscious wounds and just have extra protection at this time. When Jupiter's in the 12th, they kind of say it's like a little guardian angel. So if there are any potential losses or sorrows, because the 12th house does rule those things, you're more likely to not be as impacted by them, or to actually not even have to deal with them. Like Jupiter would act as that protector. But yeah, so you'll have this little period of solitude during the middle of the year, the middle to almost the end of the year. And then towards the end of the year, October 28th to December 20th, you're kind of back out there feeling more social and whatnot. So just keep that in mind, because these are very opposite energies, because one is so out there and one is so hidden. So if you notice that you're kind of retreating after May, don't worry. It's just part of the energy, and you'll be back to your outgoing extroverted self towards the end of the year. The next placement I'm going to talk about, or transit, is Saturn in Aquarius. So this is a long-term transit. Saturn's been here for over a year, I believe, and he will stay in Aquarius until March of 2023. For you, Taurus, this is your 10th house. So first, let's talk about Saturn. So Saturn is the opposite of Jupiter. He restricts. He is not so fun. He makes you put a lot of effort to gain anything, and a lot of effort, if that. He also rules depression and just restriction in general. So a lot of people don't love Saturn because he is a malefic planet, but he's not all bad in the sense that where he's asking us to put more discipline, hard work, and efforts is where we can see some long-lasting, like solid results. So the 10th house is all about your career, your reputation, your public image and status. It's kind of like who you are out there to people. So even if you're not working or if you're retired, this is who you are to other people. The 10th house also rules authority figures, men, fathers, masculinity in general. So Saturn here is asking you to apply discipline, structure, patience, and hard work in your career. Saturn will show us where, you know, our foundations are weak and force us to get rid of it or rebuild. So if you are one of the Tauruses who is having like challenges in your career, I urge you to really think about, you know, am I taking shortcuts? Because you will face consequences if you take shortcuts. Am I being realistic about my career goals and, you know, the efforts I'm putting in, and what needs to change? For some, you may feel your career is just really trying and restricting you. But again, just push through because Saturn will reward you. If you have been too idealistic in career matters, Saturn is going to force you to become more realistic. But if you put in the work, as the Saturn transit continues, you will begin to see rewards for your efforts and begin to feel more secure in your career and public image. For those who work under an authority figure, which is, you know, many of us, just be careful here because it can cause just some more strife and challenges in like impressing an authority figure. You're going to have to work really hard to do that. For others, where career used to seem like fun and, you know, expansive, you might now feel like this is the wrong career. And I mean, for some people it might be, but you won't really know until you're farther through the Saturn transit. Because for some, it's just that you need to be more diligent and put some more work in. Now, the other transit I want to talk about is Mars. And it's a shorter transit, but I want to talk about it because it's also going to be in Aquarius. And we already have a malefic planet there. We have Saturn. And so now we're going to have two because Mars is also a malefic. So I want people to mark down the dates, March 7th through April 14th. This is a really important time just to make sure you're using this Mars energy in the most productive way, because if it's not used productively, it can actually cause a lot of problems for us. So Mars is all about our ambition, our drive, our motivation. But Mars also rules conflict, war. Mars is very inflammatory. So, I mean, on a positive note, this will help you push ahead in your career and be more ambitious, pursuing your career goals and gaining that public image that you may want. But on a less positive note, this could cause issues with authority figures, especially male authority figures. It doesn't have to be males, but, you know. But yeah, Mars can be aggressive and competitive. So you might actually feel the desire to be noticed more or recognized for your career and accomplishments. I mean, especially with Saturn there, right? If Saturn's been like making you work, you might just be tired by now and like want some recognition. And Mars might create that energy for you to pursue that. But just be careful in how you go about getting that. Careful with your words around this time because Mars is very cutting and competitive, and just to channel any career frustration into physical activity. That is an outlet for Mars energy, is physical activity. So if you're not someone who gets any, I encourage you to start. If you're someone who does a lot of physical activity, you may require more this time just to kind of like move that energy out or to channel it positively into career gains, like working extra hard, being more ambitious, more focused, things like that. Mars, like I said, can cause more fights and conflicts. So just be careful because Saturn in your 10th house is consequences. So you don't want to have a fight with an authority figure that leads you to being cut out or fired, right? I mean, that's like the worst case scenario. If you are in a public, like if you are like a public person or have a public image, like you're a political figure or you're just out there in the world somehow, just be very careful because Mars can have you doing something that you later regret in the heat of the moment. Regardless, just know that this energy, you know, it passes within a month or so. So it's quick, but I just wanted to mention it because I think that with Saturn there can be some not so nice implications for some people. And for other people, it's going to really help them push forward in their career. The next transit I want to talk about is Uranus going direct in your sign, Taurus. And that happens January 18th, and that is in your first house. So this is a very long transit. I think Uranus moved into Taurus, I think in 2018, in like the spring sometime. And so Uranus is working really hard to change you drastically. So you in general are changing, and that's like who you are as a person. That can be your physical body, the way you dress, your personality. Uranus is rebellious, unpredictable, and unstable. So when he does go direct, he's more active. So just be careful that you don't act too impulsively, sorry. Your desire for freedom and liberation will be strong. So if you are not getting those in certain areas of life, you may just rebel. In many cases, this actually will be good for you because Taurus tends to just not like change and just likes to sit there and, stay put. So this can be helpful to kind of shake things up. Also with the North Node here, and I'm going to talk about the North Node in a sec, you are changing whether you like it or not and whether the people around you like it or not. Ultimately, this is for your highest good, but you might shock some people along the way, but that's Uranus for you. So, I've heard really interesting stories like meat eaters going vegan, or vegans becoming meat eaters, or people who have been very, preppy becoming very hippie, like just major changes. Like maybe you're a man, and I actually know a man who has short hair all his life, and now he's growing his hair out long. So just major things like that. Your body can change. So if you want to make physical changes to your body, this is a really good time to do it. So maybe getting into weights or something. For some people, it can be the opposite. You could put on a lot of weight, and maybe you were really fit, and that's changing. But just lots of changes here. That kind of leads me into talking about the North Node. So the transiting North Node, or the eclipses, are in your 1st and 7th house. I've listed the dates here, and I'm not going to go through each one, but just know that around these dates, this is when the energy is going to be more concentrated, and you might see these themes coming up more. So this year, Taurus, your focus is supposed to be more on you. You may be moving away from relationships that no longer serve you. And no, this doesn't mean you're all going to leave your partners. If you're in an unhealthy relationship or a partner that no longer serves you, with Uranus in your 1st house and the North Node, you're going to be leaving it. But if you've been overly focused on relationships, then this is the year that you're supposed to put more focus on you. You're going to also be asked to balance your needs versus the needs of others, like your partner. But overall, this transit is asking you to be more independent, more autonomous, and you're ultimately just carving a new way for yourself. So it's really, really exciting, I think. By the end of this year and these eclipses, especially with Uranus, I believe that many are going to be in brand new careers. Many are going to have just a new image. Many are reinventing themselves and their identity. So whether that's your diet, your exercise, your relationship, right? All that's going to be changing. So Taurus is in for like a total makeover in 2022. So that does it for my overview. I hope that it was helpful and clear. I put the dates up here just because I know it can be easier to just look at them versus hear me say them. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. If you've already experienced some of this, or if you have anything to share about any of these transits, I'd love to hear. And yeah, just thanks for listening, and stay tuned for some more videos.